Hello and welcome back to the Pride Pod here on Loud and Proud Orlando on another Tuesday night. I am your solo host tonight, John Rollins, here to talk everything Orlando Pride in our undefeated season. Sadly, Luis is not able to join me tonight. He had an emergency situation having to cover Peru. So he's going to be doing that while I'm going to be here with all of you. So please, if you're here with me live, drop your comments. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think as we go through the topics and talk all about Orlando Pride and their unbeaten season so far. An incredible time that they are having. Our show today, first of all, we're going to review Chicago Red Stars, the win just this gone weekend, Sunday night win. And then we're going to talk about Barbara Banda being nominated for a Ballon d'Or, of course, and then more Pride news to come. So we got a packed show today, lots of things to talk about. And then finally, we're going to preview Era's Night and the KC Current Showdown that's going to be happening this weekend back at home. So exciting times for Orlando Pride and lots to come on our show tonight. I just realized the date is wrong. Ignore that. First mistake of the evening. That's okay. We're a little bit rushed, and I started a little bit late today. So thank you, everybody, for bearing with us as we go through. Let's start out by talking about, first of all, before we even talk about the game, we need to discuss the fact that we have done something we haven't done since 2017, and that is clinch playoffs. Orlando Pride, this happened on Saturday night, so even before we played our last game. The fixtures went our way. The results went our way where we actually clinched the playoffs. And that's what we've got, something like six. At that point, we had 7 games left on the season, and we're already clinching playoffs. I mean, an incredible achievement for this team, just showing, how well we've been doing, and everything. And I think I've already started to make some calculations, and we'll talk a little bit later about other things and how long it is before we can state other things. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but of course, comment here from Jen saying thank you Seattle for the help. Yeah, it was Seattle beating who was I can't remember. I think you have to remind me, Jen, but Seattle beating somebody that managed to get us the result we needed. So very, very good. Of course, in the playoffs, incredibly great achievement for we needed to. But Saturday night, Angel City, that's correct. Thank you, Jen. It was Angel City. So we are now doing very well, obviously. Let's quickly review where we are in the table. We are, of course, first with 47 points. Now 6 points clear of Washington and second on 41 points. Kansas City on 38 points. Of course, we'll talk more about them later. Gotham, who we just beat recently, down in fourth on 37 points. So Gotham are fourth and are 10 points away from us. We're 6 points clear away from Washington. A great place to be in at this point in the season. And as we go forward, a great place to be. 6 points clear is a nice cushion to have. So very, very pleasing, of course. Now let's go back and talk about what happened on Sunday nights. Excuse me 1 second here, and I'll pull up here we go. So we got the highlights here from Sunday night's game against Chicago. The lineup for this one, for us, we had the repeated lineup. So me and Luis actually last week on the pod said that we think it's going to be a repeat lineup. And of course, actually this time we were right. I think it was like the first time we've ever got close to guessing Seb's lineup. And that's just because he didn't change anything. It was that kind of feeling like we can roll it back again and not need to change anything. So this one was Anna Morehouse, Carrie Abello, Kylie Strom, Emily Sams, Corey Dyke, Haley McCutcheon, Angelina, Summer Yates, Marta, Adriana, and Barbara Banda up front. So that was our starting lineup. And against, some pretty heavy hitters, like on the other side, they had Mallory Swanson, Julia Grosso, Jenna Bike, Jamie Joseph. So there's Alyssa Nair, of course, Kuika, they have a lot of good players too. So, but they're not doing so well in the season. So this was an expected result, and we went out and got the 1-0 win with a great shot by Marta. But let's go through the highlights, and we will see all of that as we go.
Evening with the top team in the league. That is the Orlando Pride, an NWSL record unbeaten run at 19 matches, and they have really been good on both ends of the field this year. Clean sheets in 5 of their.
I was muted. Barbara with a great run there. We see her a lot picking up the ball in this game, just running at the defense, using a lot of that speed and pace that she has on the outside, trying to get into positions, cause problems, and linking up nicely with Marta here. But just I think Marta didn't get the pass right back to, I think she was looking for Barbara again. But the ball falls to the edge of the box instead.
It's the top of the area. Adriana lays it off. Angelina onto her left foot.
That's a nice. I like to see that Angelina like doing that on the edge of the box, taking those little turns and chops, giving herself a little space because she can shoot from distance with her abilities. So that wasn't the best. Obviously, right at Nair there, but another time if she tries to put that in the corner from that position, that's another threat that we've got in this team. Angelina with long range shooting from how she's sitting further back in this game.
It's right at.
So yellow card in the 14th minute. I think I was a little bit harsh on Kylie there. Sorry, it wasn't Kylie's. Yeah, it was Kylie. They called it as Corey, but it was Kylie. It's a cynical, sure, but I mean the 14th minute. I think, yeah, you could call it a yellow, but it wasn't that bad a challenge. I think sometimes, the beginning of the game, I'd like to see the refs sort of just give it like a, don't do that again sort of thing instead of just coming straight out with the yellow that early in the game for the first challenge.
Swanson, Grosso standing over.
Ooh, Marta, I mean, what a strike this was. I mean, there were so many chances in the box, like early in this game. We had so much like Barbara. They didn't show them all here, but Barbara had some passes that weren't connecting with players. Players had passes that Barbara that weren't connecting. They just wasn't getting in right in the box. Our shots weren't weren't testing Nair the way we want. Just everything inside the box was going wrong. And then this ball just falls to Marta on the outside of the box, and they're just too slow to close her down. And you can't do that to the GOAT because you give her enough time and space, she'll punish you.
Game 19. That's pretty good return. Nothing doing on the set piece, but Orlando can keep it with Marta, who cuts it infield. Marta scores!
I mean, you'll close her down. You give too much space, she can do that to you. But what an incredible strike. This was up for goal of the week. I haven't gone back to check. I haven't had time today, but I'd love to know, is she winning? She should be winning, in my opinion. And that's not bias here. I think this is the best goal of the week. Just the fact that it's a long range effort through so many bodies, nestled in the bottom corner, like just an incredible strike. And Marta reminding us, what she can do sometimes. Sometimes she just pulls out these moments where you're like, oh yeah, I forget. You can do that whenever you choose. Got so many threats going on out there. Let's read a few comments. J.A.'s Texas says, a lot of fouls on Morehouse this game. Yeah, I wonder how many they're going to keep in here, but you probably will see that one right at the end that was pretty bad on her. Kuika was definitely the hero for Chicago the same. Yeah, Kuika is just that kind of center back, right? Just puts her body on the line, just, does everything possible in her power to get there to make the challenge. Did a decent job on Banda at times throughout this match. So I think she's one that I rate as a center back for sure. Also, J.A. Texas says, it's because Chicago worried about Banda and Adriana, they forgot about Marta. I mean, that's exactly it. And also Summer Yates. Like, let's not forget how talented Summer Yates is and how well she's done this year. I don't have it up, but I wish I did. But there was a stat that came out. I know Rachel retweeted it. They basically all the XG creation from different players, and Adriana, Barbara, Marta, Banda, and Summer were all in that top sort of 20 in the league. just shows, how much creation we've got in our front four. And I really do think this probably is our best front four on paper and in the game too. You can't, or I think Summer has really done a great job on that left wing and just shows so much creativity and class. And Adriana, like we saw against Gotham, shows what she can do constantly. And then Barbara and Marta kind of pick themselves. So I think this is a front four that we're going to see a lot going through the rest of the season, whenever available, whenever they're healthy. I think Seb's kind of, I'm not completely settled on it, but I think he's got a little bit of a preference now of those front four. Alrighty, let's continue with the highlights.
Be dangerous at any.
These are some good highlights with multiple angles of the goal. Like, so CBS, it depends. Like different NWSL highlights. Some of them, I'm sure you guys have noticed, are really bad. Like they don't have any of the multiple angles. They like just cut a bunch of important stuff out. But I guess because not a lot happened this game, they decided to put in a lot of different angles of Martha's wonder.
Chicago Red Stars is having such a difficult time generating anything against this Orlando Pride team who is so disciplined.
So only 2 yellow cards to their whole team in this game. We just saw one of them. The other one was the bike before. So I feel like there could have been more from the ref on that. There was a lot. It seems like we're having a trend of teams being quite rough against us. Same thing happening against Gotham. So I think the ref needs to, especially against like Barbara and Marta, like it's happening. It's happened all season, but it seems to be getting worse. So I would like to see the ref be a little bit more, aware of that and actually punish teams that are kind of going after them intentionally.
And defensively,
I mean, that is insane. It was crazy. I thought it at first was the keeper, and I was like, no, it's the player. It's like both of them at the same time.
It's Barbara Banda saved off the
Clearing,
line.
and what a great header by Barbara. I mean, it's a great like she's so unlucky. I tweeted that. I was like, she's so unlucky not to have scored this game. I really felt for her because she had so many chances and it just wasn't going in. And then they did a great job. Yeah, Kuika, says Jem, with save of the week. Yeah, and obviously Nair isn't part of that as well. Just there's another one. I don't know if it was before and or after this, so we'll show it, but there's and like I know there were some injuries, but some of this extra time is getting crazy. Like 9 minutes of extra time. I think there was a bunch in the first half too. I just, even in a game like this where not a lot happens, and yes, there was a few injuries, but they weren't like down for a long time injuries. So I don't know. To me, it just seems, and they've talked about, I've heard other people around the league talking about this as well. So it just does seem like there's an excessive amount of extra time at the moment, and it's a lot of it's a lot of minutes. Like they're playing more than 2 hours all the time. Like it's well, not 2 hours, but we're getting into 100 minutes. So
Swanson
I mean, I think it wasn't too hard for this game. Like she did have to make at the end a few saves, but a lot of the time I think Chicago just didn't really test her that much this match, and she just does what she does. She keeps calm, she stays focused, she keeps in the game when she's called upon in these moments. I think she did a really good job coming off her line at the right time in this match. There was a few balls in behind where she had to come out and deal with those, and you'll see that I think in a second. Show the other foul where we're at the end of the match. It was like the 80 something, I believe, where Anna got kicked in the head by one of their players running. So that was another one on Anna that could have been, yeah, it looked a little bit late in my opinion. So it's just a lot of these fouls. Jen, here with another comment saying, there has been a red card given to an opposition player in so long. Yeah, there has not been a red card given to an opposition player in so long. It's so true. That's what I'm saying. Like we gotta at some point, like Gotham, what Sonnet started out with a yellow card so early, and then she was fouling the rest of the game, and at no point did that second yellow come. Like I think it should have come that game, really, for one of them. They had 4 or 5 players that were on yellows that were still making fouls. And I think we've seen them kind of going after the Barbara because they don't know what to do with her. And they were always doing that to Marta, but she knows how to like deal with it and get out of it a lot. But it's worse right now, I think, for Barbara and the way that she's kind of get targeted quite a lot. Jen also says, have a feeling Banda will get her goal next game. I totally agree. I think both the Gotham game and this game against Chicago, it just kind of felt like it was Gotham. It was more about they were just marking her out of the match, and then that opened up opportunities for Adriana. I think here it was the case that she was getting all of her opportunities. It just wasn't going in, and they were making great saves, and all of those great saves were on Barber's shots, and a lot of other players' shots inside the box, and Marta with the long range goal was what was needed to kind of to break through because they weren't able to keep that press. They can't close down everybody, like we talked about before. Also, I want to share here what I was talking about. Chris Henderson, I'm sure a lot of people does Warsaw Independent. He's a women's soccer guy, and he's talking all about here the magic number for we're in the playoffs, but these is what people need, other teams need in order to get in the playoffs as well. So a lot of interesting stuff. I would definitely check him out. He has on here a lot of great stats about the league and everything that's going on. So I'll try and find the one that's really good regarding the XG of everybody. Alrighty, let's move on to our next topic. Barbara Banda for Ballon d'Or. Let me change our. Here we go. Barbara. I mean, I don't know if it's like are we surprised? I don't really think we're surprised. I didn't really think about Ballon d'Or because I've been thinking a player for Orlando Pride or Orlando City or any of the Orlando teams would be in the mix to win a Ballon d'Or. Like we've had previous Ballon d'Or winners here, of course. We have Marta here, we have Kaká here. But to have somebody playing for one of our clubs to actually win Ballon d'Or, I mean that's incredible. It's insane. So the little video they did of Barbara, she's in the weight room, trying to do a workout, and then you got Haley coming in to give the announcement and all the players. It's really cool to see. Obviously, it means a lot to her. It means a lot to us, and Barbara wanting to thank her teammates and everything. But she's had an incredible year. But obviously, it went before when she was here as well, and everything that she's done with her national team is a big part of this in Zambia, and just who she is. The list of nominees, of course, in NWSL, there's quite a few: Sophia Smith, Rodman, etc., Mallory Swanson. A lot of them forwards. A lot of people were upset that Naomi Germer is not on here, and I would have to agree. I think Germer. I think a lot of the time the defenders get left out, but then Tarsiane is on here, so I'd say arguably Germer over Tarsiane. Yeah, I think Bonmati is big competition for her, obviously. Chewinga could be good, big competition. Katoto, these are huge names. Alexia Putellas. It really depends who you think's had a major year this year, and I think Barbara would be up there, and has a really good chance of winning this award. So I think it's amazing, and congratulations to Barbara. Congratulations to all of the Zambia fans. I'm sure you're excited by the prospect of a Zambian player winning Ballon d'Or. I'm extremely excited by the prospect of Barbara Vanda and an Orlando Pride player winning Ballon d'Or. Chewinga's on an 8-game scoring streak. Yeah, that happens. But remember, Barbara was on a big scoring streak earlier in the year. And I would say Barbara's arguably done more for her nation. So, I think she's up there with the best of the best, and yeah, it's tight margins. It's going to be tight margins for her to beat out the likes of Katoto and Bomati and Hansen, and these are some of the best in the world. That's where Barbara should be competing. But we wish her all the best and in the Ballon d'Or, and we'll be watching at the end of the year to see. Excited to see if she wins. So that is everything on that subject, but we have lots more news. First, some great news about another contract extension. This one for a player that we're a big fan of here on the Pride Pod, and I think a lot of people are, because she's homegrown. We love a homegrown player from Maitland, Mac Attack. I don't know. She needs a nickname. Mac, if you're listening to this, give yourself a nickname because you desperately need one. We need a cool nickname for McKinley Crone. Mac, as she's known, I guess that's her nickname, has signed a new contract through 2026. So great news. I think someone that we've seen play one game for us really in the Summer Cup, but was pretty impressive. She got 2 games actually in the Summer Cup. So very impressive what we've seen so far. And I think a lot of, good things are said about her, and obviously her time in college. She broke records. So really good, played really well in college. So I think for Mac, it's exciting by the fact that she's going to be here permanently going forward, and probably our number 2 keeper. I'm sure Sophia Manor might have something to say about that. I don't know if she's going to get more time in the future or not, but I feel very comfortable saying that we've got Anna and Mac as our 2 keepers. I think she will step up if needed. Hopefully not needed, because Anna's been doing incredibly. But someone who's a good team player, and of course, it's just awesome to have someone from Orlando in the team. I think it means so much to her. You can tell about the way she talks about playing for her club. Having watched this club as a kid, and then now being able to play for her club, it just always means so much to have that connection. So great news that Mac is here to stay. I know she's gonna do big things, and I hope to see more from her in the future. I think when Anna's probably gonna be on international duty in the future and stuff, we're gonna see more of Mac, and hopefully some more games for her coming up as well. So Jay Texas says a good keeper. Really impressed with her penalty shot stuff. Yeah, I think she just shows that kind of grit for being a great keeper. So congratulations to Mac, and hopefully we'll see more from her next season. So someone who has left the club, but only temporarily, is Amanda Allen. Amanda Allen, something we talked about, or I talked about here on the Pride Pod, could happen now that they have opened up USL Super League, that we could see some loans from NWSL teams to USL Super League clubs. And that's what we've seen here for Amanda, somebody that hasn't got a lot of minutes this year. Someone that we know is young and talented, and we've seen sparks of talent and moments of what she can do throughout the years in a Pride jersey. But I think someone that really just needs minutes, really needs like time now. And I think she's at that age where it's important that she gets those minutes. So Haley saying, Amanda has shown her potential and her maturity during her time in Orlando. We're happy to find an opportunity for her to get more minutes on the field. Amanda has played an important role so far this season, and we're happy to be able to give her the opportunity to compete in Lexington. We look forward to watching her play, and will support her from afar during this loan spell. So, yeah, I think it's a great move for Amanda. I think this is exactly what she needs. I don't in any way think this is a negative thing. I don't know if Amanda has come to Haley and said, I need more minutes. Please, can you sort me a loan? If so, I think that's great. I think a lot of players should do that when they're in that scenario. Like, she might still see a future for her in this club, but knows realistically right now it's difficult to put her in a starting lineup when you've got the other talents in the squad in this team. So it could be the other way. I don't know. Maybe Haley suggested this to her. We don't know what sparked this, or why Amanda is going on low, more than just the fact that she needs more time and more minutes. And I think that's a great thing. So excited to. I already saw if she's obviously, I think, still on Canada duty for U20. She'd probably be back soon. And then we'll be joining the Lexington Sporting Club camp. And then I don't know how long we're going to be before we see her on the field. I imagine we would have loaned her there I don't know if there's an agreement or what with her minutes, but I would say she should be starting. I mean, like that's the whole purpose of this. So I'm hoping that she's going to get in the team quickly and get a lot of minutes. Yeah, she's the captain for U20, says Jay, Texas. I mean, she was talked about a lot when she was like 18 years old about being a really great young talent. We just we need to see more of that. So hopefully she can go to Lexington, get a lot of minutes, play that right wing role, really, hone her skills, develop her dribbling, develop her passing, develop her crossing, and then come back and compete, maybe in the preseason of 2025. I'm not sure exactly how long the loan is. Oh yeah, because Super League is different. So she's actually going to be there in a different. So Super League is doing it like European style, where they literally just start the league in August, like late August. So they're going to be running until May probably. So actually it's different. So Amanda's going to be on loan there for a whole season starting now. So great. It's going to be a lot of minutes for her. So we'll see her back probably, I imagine, next summer. And then we'll see if she can compete for the team. But great news for Amanda. I think it's like I said, the perfect situation for her right now and what she needs. Alrighty. I think that is everything we want to talk about in news. It's now time to talk all about KC Current. Yes, this is the big one. We are back against the rivals, against the team that we're not allowed to celebrate too much, guys. If we win, I mean, even though it's our house, we should be respectful. We don't want to celebrate too hard and get people upset. But this is going to be a big game. It is also Era's night. So let's see. I have it right here. It is Era's night. So they've been promoting this one for a while, ever since we had that rivalry game before against KC when they were on such a big undefeated streak, just like we were. Era's nights will be happening Friday the 13th at the stadium, 8 p.m. It's kind of, obviously Taylor Swift themed. I don't know much about Taylor Swift, so I probably will say something wrong if I try to reference why it's Era's night. I have no idea. You probably all know, and I'm just the guy who doesn't know. But it's gonna have some theme stuff going on. Tickets are just $13. I really, really hope that we get a big attendance for this game. This is a massive match, and I just really they've been talking a lot about the KC Currents, like, oh, ages ago, like we're gonna stack the stadium. So I imagine there's gonna be a decent contingent of KC Current away fans. I think just tempers are, gonna be high. I think it's just gonna have that rivalry game feel to it, which is super exciting. I can't wait. But also, we gotta get the business done on the field against another big opponent. Arguably very similar to what just the game against Gotham. A lot of similarities. A few comments here. Jennifer says, LMAO, I am not going to be respectful. Yeah, I don't blame you. Jay in Texas says this will be a big rivalry game. Jennifer says, I was sober, Casey. I will not be sober Friday. And then Jay in Texas says, will there be a red this game? I could very well. It could happen. I could see it. I could see them making some cynical tackles on Barbara. Before we dive deep into that, let's just talk a little bit about the table and obviously what this means. We are up in first on 47 points. Kansas City down in 38 points. Now, Kansas City recently have not been as good as other times. They did win last week, but they have been struggling a little bit. I'm trying to find the results here. They lost. In fact, they lost. Can you believe it? They lost 3 in a row. Well, not lost in a row, but they didn't win in 3 before they won this last weekend. So they haven't been doing as well. Obviously, they're no longer undefeated like us when we last met. So KC Current, perhaps there's some, I want to say there's a chink in the armor, right? There's a little. They've shown that maybe they're not as big as everybody thinks. But of course, a team full of top players, Bia Zanerato, Chawinga, Labonta. This it just goes on. The amount of ability that this team has. A great coach, of course, in Vlatko as well. It's never easy when you play a team like this, but I don't think they're as confident as when we last played them. Dabinia, not having an incredible season this year. Desiree Scott, of course, up there. DiBernardo, they've got a lot of good players. They're a very good team. We know a lot about them. It's going to be a good rivalry game. Tempers are going to be high. One thing I would say is their defense is not great. I think that they've shown that they kind of have an issue. Well, not an issue, but they're not as solid as we are at the back, and they leak more goals. And I think they've leaked goals against teams like ours. They leak goals against teams that are big and they're competitive. They're not so good at playing the big teams in the league. And that's pretty much what you can see here. So of course, last week they beat the Utah Royals, but before that they they lost to NC Courage and the Spirit. That kind of the loss of the Spirit was massive. That really helped us, and kind of accelerated the Spirit and really brought KC Current down a peg or two. Before that, of course, doing very well until they lost to us. But of course, Spirit, us, those are the teams that are at the top of the table. Those are the teams up here where they are. So they're losing out to their rivals around them. And I think it's going to be the same way on Sunday. I can't imagine that it's going to be any different. I think we just have this ability this year to kind of defend our house. And I think, Chawinga, as you say, is on an 8-game scoring streak. Great, but we got Emily Samson, Kylie Strom, and we got Anna, who's on a 10-game shutout, in the season. So I think everything that they have going forward is dangerous, but we also have that going forward, and we have a better defense. Just like when we played them before, I think that's really what shone through. It might be more of an open scoring game. I don't think so, because in our house, like I said, we're so defensive, and not in a bad way, but we're so good at not allowing the opposition to have a lot of opportunities. We haven't conceded a goal, knock on wood, in the last, I think it's 15 minutes of a game. We just have this grit this year that Seb has instilled in the team, that we're not going to let up goals at home. We're not going to give away late chances. And I think that's going to continue. So as long as we get a couple early goals against Kansas City, I think it might well look like Gotham. It could be a very similar situation. Jay Texas says also, can KC adapt to the weather? I mean, that was a big part of Gotham. Like, Seb has used that. And now we're in the heights of, well, September is still pretty hot, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's September, August, July. It doesn't matter what time of the summer season they come. It's difficult for them to do it in this heat, in this humidity. And I think that will be a factor for Kansas City. I think also they were very distracted by the Summer Cup and how well they did there. Maybe they took their eye off the ball. And for a Vlatko team, like I said, they're not as good defensively. They've shown some weaknesses in that area, and we're just a team that's scoring goals and can pick you apart. So we'll find a way to score against KC, and hopefully we'll keep our solid defensive outfit. I mean, we have the fortress of the Orlando Pride Stadium will not fall, and I do not think it's going to fall to KC. So drop in the comments what you think the result's going to be. If you think it's going to be a win, or you think it's going to be a 2-1 or a 1-0 or a 2-0, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. I would do the lineup again, but I do think Seb's gonna do a repeat on the lineup. I think he's kind of liking a little bit of um, synchronization, as it were, and really just kind of, since we come back from the Summer Cup, get the core starting 11 consistent playing time together in the same lineup. And I think if they're all healthy and ready to go, then we'll see it again. Luis and I had a discussion yesterday. We were a little bit concerned about Carrie Abello, not in any way of her performance. I just think with her leg sleeve that she's been having and how much she's been playing, I feel like she, more than anyone, has been always out there, maybe up there with Kylie in terms of just constantly being out on the field. So this being a big game, I'm sure she'll start. But again, I think we'll probably see her coming off for Carson Pickett. And maybe it's one of these games we'll potentially see Carson get a start to rest Carrie and maybe save her for the bigger matches. But this, of course, being a really big match, I imagine we're going to see the same lineup that did it against the last two teams, and can do it again. We're up here at the top of the table, and that's where you want to be. We've put ourselves in a great position. This 6 points clear is an incredible place to be at this time of the year. And the reason for that, I'm looking at the wrong fixtures here. Give me a second. The reason for that with Orlando Pride is because as we approach the end of the season and the fixtures start to dwindle down, really at this point, if we can keep our 6 point gap, even if Washington continue to win, we're still going to maintain that 6 point gap. So if we just keep winning games, we're going to have a point. And this is kind of what I'll show you here, where we've actually won the Shield before the season's over. And this is something someone asked me on Twitter, and I was talking with Elise about this, and we were speculating and doing some loose calculations on things and what may or may not happen. But like I said, we got the 6 points clear. So right now, if we beat Kansas City, and then we were away to Bay FC, hopefully another win, then we are back home at Houston, probably another win. At this point, we're now getting to the point where there's only 3 games left in the season, and we're gonna have to play Washington at home. So that is a massive game. I think it would be the case of, if we get to that game against Washington at home and we're still 6 points clear of them, it's going to be a case of, unless we start losing, it's wrapped up, and we'll win against Washington, say, and then it'll be a case of, well, there's 2 games left, they're 6 points clear. At that point, actually, no, we'll be 9 points clear then, because we would have beaten Washington if they're still in second, and then we're 9 points clear with 2 games left, and it's all done. And I know I might be getting very ahead of myself. I know it's all, but Seb Hines has done so well this year. He's turned me into somebody who's staring at the table wondering, when are we going to win, not someone staring at the table and wondering, are we going to get into playoffs? So I think that just shows this incredible season we've had and everything that he's done. So obviously, like I said many times, if we maintain these wins, it's going to be a case that it comes down to that Washington game, and then if we manage to win against them, we'll have sealed the Shield with 2 games left, and we can start playing some reserves for a couple games. Maybe save a few players if we've already won the Shield with two games spare. It's the kind of thing that happens in video games. It's the kind of thing that happens to me when I'm playing FIFA or Football Manager, and you'll be like, hey, we don't get to the end of the season, I've won, I'll just sim the rest of the year. And I don't like to get ahead of myself, but we're in a very real scenario where we could be wrapping up the Shield before the season is actually done at this rate. And of course, Jen says, all we have to do is stand on business and avoid dropping points to the rest of the top 4. Yep, totally fine. I mean, that's the really vital thing here is, like that game against I imagine like Portland will be up there maybe at that point as well. Obviously the Washington game, the Kansas City game, these are the matches that will define, the top 3 going forward this week. Of course, being one of them. Jen also says, no counting on other people to help us out. I hate that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying here is we put ourselves in a great situation, 6 points clear. If we continue this, it doesn't matter. We've ran away with it. We've literally just stolen the cup and gone. And Washington can do whatever they want. They're not going to catch us. So we put it in the ball is in our court. We just got to shoot it and take the win. And I'm excited by the prospect of, having a Shield celebration perhaps at home, knock on wood, before the end of the season. And then, of course, playoffs is a whole other thing. Let's just focus on only 6 games left now in the season. So we're getting into the business end here. Sorry, 7 games. I forget. We got a game against Rain. I forgot about that one. So it might be the case that it's a little different with Washington in there. But really around that Washington, Portland, Thorns time, if we continue, we'll be in a situation where we may or may not have won the league depending on other results and what happens. So exciting to think about the future and lots going on. So I want to thank everybody who is here today, dropping comments. Luis, I'm sure, is sorry that he could not be here. Like I said, just been very busy for us this week, and he's been obviously is there trying to cover Peru, as he also does. A lot of people might not know that he has a whole other podcast where he covers Peru as well as everything that we do here with Loud and Proud Orlando. So thank you, everybody who joined us here today. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, you can join us, follow us on social media. I got to take down my banner. Here it is. You can follow us on social media at LPO_podcast on X. Also, same place on Instagram and on Facebook as Loud and Proud Orlando, and on YouTube as Loud and Proud Orlando. If you're not watching on YouTube, please go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, drop a like on the video, comment, all that good stuff. Same thing on X. If you're watching on X, please, we got about just hit 100 people, some people on X and some people on YouTube as well. So welcome to all of you. Thank you. Please drop your comments, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps us. It gets us going on the algorithms. Of course, I will see all of you next week for the Pride Pod. But until then, I will say, Vamos Pride. See you next week.